So this is the little nutcracker that we are going to make. I just love him. His arm waves, he has scissors that come out and open and close. There's a tag here, he's got a feather in his cap. And look, his mouth opens and closes. Isn't that fun? Isn't that fun? You should already have your scissors created. Scissors open and close. We're going to set these up here for now. So now what we're going to do is we're going to cut the pieces to build this little nutcracker here. And you're going to pull the pieces from your big stash of scrap paper. I'm sure we all have lots and lots of scrap paper as mixed media artists. In fact, this entire nutcracker was built from nothing but scrap papers. This envelope under here, this body of the nutcracker was an envelope. It was a junk mail envelope, and then I just built on top of it. So let's get started. We're going to pull the pieces, and as I pull them, I'm going to put them out here on my sheet of paper, just so that you can kind of see where we're going with this. And you may want to do this for yourself as you cut them. Don't glue them down yet, just set them there. They'll be a little wobbly, but you'll get a sense of what we're doing. So I'm going to read each one off of this list. You may not be able to see this clearly, but at the end of the video, there will be a list of this scrolling across the screen. This slide is a final list of the nutcracker element sizes. It varies slightly from what you see me measure in the video. So if you recreate this nutcracker from my video, please use this list and not the one that I show as I pull the papers. So we're going to start with the arms and their torso base. And you'll want a piece that is 4 inches high, 4 inches high, and 5.5 inches wide. So it will go on here like this. And what that is the arms area in here, and the base of the torso, which is really underneath. It's just kind of a base for these pieces to sit on. Next, we're going to need the torso itself. And that is another rectangle, 3 1/4 inches high by 2.5 inches wide. And I'm just going to set it in here. I'll be leaving some space up at the top and down at the bottom, and we'll be cutting the arms out here. But for right now, just sort of, once you cut it, just sort of set it in the center of the torso base. Next, we're going to do his little pants. You can see them again. We've done the torso base and the torso. Now we're going to do the pants and the belt. The pants will be 2 1/4 inches high and 2.5 inches wide, and it will come right down in here. The belt, I got a black belt here, and it will be a 1/4 inch high and 2.5 inches wide. You'll need 2 boots. The boots are just little squares. You'll need 2 of them, 1 1/4 inch high by 1 inch wide. And we'll cut little boots out of these. Right now, they're just little squares. I'm going to move this entire thing down a little. Just like this. Now he needs a head. The head will be 2 inches high and 2 1/4 inches wide. And it'll come right here. Just like that. Can you see he's taking shape? Just as if you were building him out of blocks in your workshop. He's beginning to take shape. Don't worry that he's got fat arms right now. Those will be trimmed up. And he'll get little decorative elements here. You'll get some red mittens on them too. So we need the hat base, and that is 3 inches wide by 2 inches high. And that will come right up here on his head, right up here. Now the eyes, if you have a circle punch that's 3/4 of an inch in diameter, punch a circle out of it, and then cut the circle in half, just like this. If you don't, just draw some little half circles. But the base of the eye will be 3/4 inch, and then you'll just have the little rounded oval. It doesn't have to be perfect. No, it doesn't have to be perfect. The nose is a little triangle cut out of a rectangle. And the rectangle is 1/4 inch at the base. And 3/4 inch high. So I'm just going to place my rectangle there. Now I know that while you were doing this, you're going to need to stop the video, cut your piece, place it, figure out what color you want next. It's going to be a process. I'm just walking through the different pieces. I have a mustache, and I cut it out of some gold waxed paper, a little piece of wax paper. I painted it gold, but it is 1/4 inch high by 1 1/2 inches wide, and his mustache will come in there. Now I think he will also have some lips. I did not measure and cut those, but we can do that later. There's a lot of decorative elements that you just kind of add and build on, and that's where you get creative. This is the base of the Nutcracker. Now, there's a mouth strip, and it is going to be long. The mouth strip, what I'm calling the mouth strip, is this really long piece. It's really long, and it forms this entire piece in here. And it will be 11 inches long by 1 1/4 inch. Next, we are ready to do the pull legs. And the pull legs are just a decorative piece that fits onto this 1 1/4 inch mouth strip. And it is what you will pull to open and close the mouth. And I just call them pull legs. I make them a little more decorative. And you might want them out of a stronger paper because you will be pulling on this. Now mine is just cardboard on the back. This is out of a Kleenex box. I'll probably paint this red on the back. But there's the pull legs. Then you will need a back strip. And what the back strip is a strip attached on the back of your paper to keep these pull legs from flopping open all the time. It's just sort of like a belly band, but it just holds this strip in place as you open and close it. In fact, I put a sheet of paper over this, and that's why I say you need 2 sheets of cardstock, because I will put another piece over this to cover this all up. Your back strip is 1 inch high by 4 3/4 inch wide. And last, you will need a beard. And the beard is this little sort of a triangular piece with the top cut off. You're going to cut it out of a rectangle piece, and that will be 2 3/4 inch high by 1 1/4 inch wide. Now there'll be other little decorative elements on here. I put a feather in his cap. I rounded his cap, I believe. No, it's square, and then I rounded the cap at the base here on the front. So, and then I marked in marker here. I gave him some red gloves. I gave him a gold buckle. I gave him some stripes coming down his pant legs there. We'll do all of that once we get him constructed. So the next step is going to be putting all of this together. This is going to be easy. It's a lot easier than it looks. Pull your pieces, set them aside. We're going to start with the torso base and the torso. Set the belt aside, the beard aside, the mustache, the face and the eyes, the pants and the boots. Set it all aside, the back strip and the mouth strip and the pull legs. Set them all aside. Get you a nice work area. Now, the torso is going to fit on here, but in order for it to open and close, we've got to cut a rectangular area in here. And that rectangular area needs to accommodate this strip, which is 1 1/4 inch. So it needs to be about 1 1/2 inch. We're going to go in 1/2 inch. We're going to cut 1 1/2 inch, and we should have approximately 1/2 inch left. Just measure it off now. Start from the top of your piece, up at the top of your torso up here. We're going to measure in 1/2 inch. Make a mark. We're going to go over another 1 1/2. So you go over to 2 inches, and you should have approximately 1/2 inch left. We're going to measure down 2 1/4 inch. Just draw a line from each half strip and go down 2 1/4. So 2 1/4, you might want to measure over 1/2 here and make sure they're straight. 1 1/2. Come down 2 1/4. Now it's kind of hard to see on my example because I'm running into the dark area there. Just like that. So this is your torso base here, and this is your torso. Your torso measures 3 1/4 inch high by 2 1/2 inch wide. And what we want to do is cut out a little area in here where this mouthpiece can open and close. So this area right in here will be cut out of our torso. Let me show that to you. Here's my torso. It's 3 1/4 inch high by 2 1/2 inch wide. You're going to measure in from the top 1/2 inch. And you're going to mark it because you're going to have a cut line. And your cut line will be 2 1/4 inch. So you come down 2 1/4 inch here and stop. And you'll cut right along there. Then you'll go over 1 1/2 inch, mark it, and you should have about 1/2 inch left. And you're going to come down, and this will be another cut line. And you're going to mark it, just draw a line down there, and then draw this line, and you're going to cut this entire area out. And I'm going to do that right now so that you can see that happen. So I'm just going to cut. I've already made all these marks on it. I'm just going to cut this out right here. Right there. Right there. And right there. Now it looks kind of flimsy. It will go right in here. This is his torso. And I'll probably put some little gold dots down there, or white buttons or red buttons. This is his torso right here. This is his torso. It'll go right in there. We'll probably have to trim his arms down a little, but I left a lot of space so you could have enough room to work with. This can always be trimmed down. Right now we just want to get his body built. His head will also be glued onto here. So leave a little space for his head here. This will be his shoulders. We'll probably trim his arms down a little. And this will be his head. Let's draw this out. Here's the torso base. The head will come down maybe about 1/4 of an inch. This is the head. We're going to glue this down, and then we'll have the torso right in here where it's been cut out. And then this is the base, and this is the base, and this is the torso. So what I want you to do is take a marker, position everything just like I have it, maybe the head about 1/4 of an inch down on it. Kind of place your torso in the center. Don't worry about the wide arms. We'll trim those down. And just draw a line here. Just like that. And you can even, we're going to cut there, but you want to leave this piece. You can make a cut line there and just cut this area out right here. So cut out. So I'm going to do that right now. This really sounds more complicated than it is. We're just building we're building him out of paper. We're just piecing him together. And you know what? If you make a mistake, this is scrap paper. Don't worry about it. Grab another piece, cut it again, put it back together again. Or mend it. What we're going to have here now is our base strip. Ow. See how long he is? This is our base strip right here, which is 11 inches by 1 1/4. Is 11 inches high and 1 1/4 wide. But what we're going to do is we're going to need to put some score lines here. Right here and right there. So here's your base strip, right? Your mouth strip. This is that long piece that we cut. You want to come down 1 1/2 inches. 1 1/2 inches down, and you don't want to cut, you want to score it. You want to come down another 1 1/2 inches, and you want to make another score line. You want to come down 1 1/2 inches, mark it, and come down another 1 1/2 inches and mark it. And we're going to make score lines there. And by a score line, I mean just a fold line, because this is where the mouth is going to fold. And you score this. You can just put your ruler between your two lines that you marked off, 1 1/2 inches down, and you can take your scissors and score it. If it's not perfect, it really, so many times I have to say, it really, you want it as perfect as you can get it, but if it's not perfect, don't sweat it. So this folds down. And this folds up. So we're going to make another score line here on the bottom, the second score line. Just going to fold it, and this will fold down like this, and this will fold up, and it'll look something like this. So this piece, after all of that, this piece is going to fit right in here, right in there. And that will make his mouth open and close. This is the hardest part of it, but it really isn't that hard once you do it. Now let's put the torso on. The torso is here, right in here. The torso goes right in there. And I put it up a little. Let's put the head on too. The head will go right there. And you'll have a little area here where we're going to put a lip. His mustache will come right in there. So let's go ahead and put the head on first. I'm going to use double-sided tape for this. Decide which side of your scrap paper you want to use. And I think I'll use this. So sort of center him about 1/4 of an inch down and just tape him down just like that. Now the torso is going to meet the base of his face. Really, it will fit right into that little rectangle right in there. And rather than tape it down, I'm going to use my glue stick. I have to tell you, we are doing the hardest part of the whole piece right here. This is the hardest part, is getting this area done. Once we get this done and built, the rest of it comes pretty easy. I'm going to move this over just a bit and move this over just a bit. There we go. Now let's go ahead and put his pants on him. How easy is that to put on? His pants is right in there. Now you can see I cut a little V shape out for his pants. Just to show you what it might look like. Like this, like this. So what we want to do is just kind of cut a little V in there. Does not have to be perfect. Just like that. You don't go up all the way, but just make 2 legs. He needs some legs. So let's go ahead and cut those out. And tape those down. Just like that. He's going to be a fine fellow of a Nutcracker. Now I'm going to go ahead and tape the pants down onto the base area. I'm using double-sided tape. I find it's less messy. Now put his pants legs right up there to his torso. There you go. Is he starting to look like a man? Now let's go ahead and if I can find his belt. Let's put his belt on. His belt isn't, my black belt isn't going to show up much. I think I'm going to cut me another belt out of red. On my piece, I want it to show up a little bit more. I think I'll make his belt out of this. Just go ahead and cut a strip here. That's approximately. And I'm just eyeballing it here because I don't want the black belt that I cut because it doesn't show up very well. This looks more like a belt to me. And let's go ahead and tape that down. Let's tape his belt on him. Right there. Oh, I'm liking him. I'm liking him already. Let's do his eyes. 2 little eyes. Just like that. And here's the nose, just like that. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my glue stick to put those on. The circles, of course, on mine go up at the top, and the base of the semicircle goes down at the bottom. Just something like that. Let's go ahead and put his little nose on. It's a rectangle that's been cut diagonally. Now let's go ahead and let's give him a mustache. Mustache might be a little bit too wide, so I'm going to trim it down. I almost reached for my paper scissors. Just giving myself room to play here. And you'll do that too as you get to working on it. You'll figure out what fits and what doesn't. The mustache, that works. Now if you're really talented at it, you'll give them a handlebar mustache. But I'm not going to fool with that this morning. Now, I'm going to start outlining his eyes so they look a little more expressive, so you can see him a little bit better. I made his eyeballs really round in here. Gave him a little sparkle in the eye. Just like this. Give him leave a little white in the eye. Let's give him a little there. And I didn't outline the nose on my model, but I'm going to here because you need to see it. Just like that. And then I'm just going to outline the mustache. And I could even outline the face a little here. Just like that. Let's go ahead and put his cap on him. So I'm just going to fit it on right here, maybe about a 1/2 inch down. Now before I do that though, before I glue it down, I'm going to round it off. So I'm just going to take my scissors and just kind of eyeball it. You could use a corner punch if you want, but I'm just going to eyeball it because it doesn't have to be perfect. It just, see, just cut 2 little curves there, right there. Let's go ahead and glue the hat down, or I'm going to tape it down actually. Let's put some tape. Let's put some tape right at the top. Now here again, as I'm working through this, you can watch what I do and then cut your pieces and then go back and work through it. Or you could work along with me, stop the video, pause the video. Do each piece as I do it so that you understand what I'm doing. Now I'm just placing the head so that the two curves kind of meet. The hat on the head, right like that. So I'm kind of liking him. Let's go ahead and put his boots on. Now his boots, you can I kind of shaped mine like shoes. And it's, let me draw them out here. Let's just draw out one for you. Right boots here, and this is what I'm calling the mouth strip. And these are the legs. So what I've done for the boots is my little rectangles. I measured down about 1/4 of an inch, and then I just drew a little curve on each side. This is just a line telling you that it's the toe, and this is kind of like the cuff of the boot. And I did that on both sides, and then I just cut out the curves, and here are my boots, and they're going to go on his feet. They don't have to be perfect. He's a nutcracker. He's blocks of wood put together. So let's go ahead and tape them on. Let's put a little piece of tape there and a little piece of tape here. Now you can glue these on. I'm using double-sided tape.